if you're an altcoin holder, this is an absolute game changer. BlackRock, the Bitcoin spot ETF everybody's talking about, BlackRock acknowledging how bullish altcoins are. I want to break down exactly what I'm talking about in this video. Attention Cardano, Ethereum, Solana, Avalanche, and Polkadot holders. I didn't even post this yet. I just wrote it up and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to record this. I want to break this down. And before we even dive into what happened in the filing, I want to just tell you two things that are so important. They're foundations to what we're about to talk about. Number one, Bitcoin dominance over the years across all of these cycles. Here's the 2016 halving back here. Over the years, Bitcoin dominance has been falling. I just want to make note of that. Now let's put that aside for a second. Secondly, as it relates to where we are in these cycles, we look at the Bitcoin zoomed out chart. This is where we are in these cycles. We're pre-halving, right? So we're not in this bull market yet that we've seen historically in previous cycles. And when we get there, this is the time historically when altcoins really start outperforming Bitcoin and Bitcoin dominance really starts falling. So we're not there yet. So when we look at these altcoin charts, I just want to acknowledge we're still in this in-between phase leading into the next Bitcoin halving. But let's talk about what is happening here. I break it down in this little post that I'm putting on X, and I'll probably put the video on here. Did you know that BlackRock knows altcoins are chipping away at Bitcoin dominance, and they publicly acknowledged it in their filing? The coins above were specifically mentioned. I haven't done a video on this, and I really want to get this out there. Here's the amendment. This is what they did back in October. This is a long amendment, and what I'm saying is, in their amendment to Form S1 for the iShares Bitcoin Trust, BlackRock officially acknowledged altcoins like Ethereum, Cardano, Solana, Avalanche, and Polkadot as significant competitors to Bitcoin dominance in the digital asset space. So we go over here and we look at this. Check this out. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit, but you can just see financial institutions are also researching and investing resources into private or permissioned smart contract platforms rather than open platforms like the Bitcoin network. Competition from the emergence or growth of alternative digital assets and smart contract platforms such as Ethereum, Solana, Avalanche, Polkadot, or Cardano. Here it is. Could have a negative impact on the demand for and price of Bitcoin and thereby adversely affect the value of the shares. Altcoin dominance is so in play. It's being acknowledged in this amendment by BlackRock. And it really pairs really nicely with the data that we already have, that Bitcoin dominance has been falling because altcoin dominance is in play, because there is innovation being built in the space. Bitcoin has its specialness. Bitcoin has its uniqueness, but not only is there room for other cryptos, but it's just going to happen. It's what's been happening over the years and over these cycles. And what's interesting to me is this kind of might demonstrate why we've been seeing altcoins really, really pumping. Solana, AVAX, ADA, and I zoomed out on ADA because I specifically want to show you. Again, we've talked about in relation to ADA, and it really pertains to all of these cryptos, pumping a little bit early this cycle around as we wait for the next Bitcoin halving, a little bit earlier this time as opposed to last time. And it could be because of this. Big money eyes are now on these altcoins. It's right there in that filing. And BlackRock acknowledging that big money eyes are on these smart contract platforms. Here's DOT. Here's Ethereum. Now, Ethereum has its own little story going on. It's a higher cap. It's number 2 behind Bitcoin. And obviously, there was already institutional demand for Ethereum. But I talk about this, and I mention a few reasons why this is so big. This acknowledgement from financial giant like BlackRock places these altcoins in a new light. And I truly mean that. Think about this. Think about all of that big money that's tracking along, waiting for BlackRock. They're waiting for all of the Bitcoin spot ETF news to break, to get approved. And they're seeing the mentions of these smart contract platforms with insanely lower market caps than Bitcoin. They're going to be curious here. We talk about institutions coming into Bitcoin, but we can talk about institutions coming into the rest of the markets. there's going to be interest for these risk-on assets, highlighting their growing influence and potential in the crypto market. This also gets big money eyes on these altcoins. Competitive landscape. The recognition in an official SEC filing suggests that the competition in the crypto space is just getting started. This is our first cycle that we're going into where we have this big money narrative finally. We've talked about it speculatively for years in previous cycles. Like, it's going to happen, it's going to happen. It's happening. This is an actual filing from the world's largest asset manager, right? Mentioning Cardano and Ethereum and Solana and Avalanche. Whether you like all of them or dislike some of them, doesn't matter. Altcoins gaining ground against Bitcoin. It's basically a warning to Bitcoin ETF investors that altcoins could negatively impact their gains. Investment spotlight. This could signal a shift in how investors view altcoins, not just as alternatives, but as serious contenders in the digital asset world. And that's just my view. I think all of these things are speculative. All of these things are obviously risky, but I tweeted or posted a little bit earlier, they're seemingly less risky these days. With you look around what's going on in this world, crypto is a risk-on asset. I get it. But it's seeming like the best place to invest my money lately. And altcoins are obviously such a big part of that story. And this was always the way that this space was going to go. And then future prospects for holders of Ethereum, Cardano, Solana, Avalanche, and Polkadot, no matter who you are out there, or other altcoins, even other altcoins. This could mean increased interest, investment, potentially value appreciation, obviously. Huge for altcoin holders. You all know, as a value investor in this space, this type of thing is important. It's not just charts. It's not just technical analysis. And we can view the technical analysis of it all, right? We do, and we've been tracking this. We've been tracking the cycles of Bitcoin and the cycles of crypto in general. Bitcoin charts acting as a roadmap for crypto. The consistency has been insane on these charts. Even when we look at Bitcoin dominance falling, has been insane. But if we're trying to tell that consistent story, we're trying to anticipate the consistency of it continuing to play out. Well, at this stage, years and years and years and later, cycles and cycles and cycles later, we have this brand new narrative, right? And each ecosystem has their own little narratives or big narratives that are bullish for those ecosystems. I cover Cardano a lot on this channel. But the macro narrative is altcoins are here. And they're going to bring on big enterprise corporations. And it's going to be a big deal for the future of this space, altcoins. And so as we are in this cycle of Bitcoin halvings and Bitcoin cycles, this is huge news for altcoins. And really, it's a really important data point, I would say, for Bitcoin dominance. Now, we do have the Bitcoin ETF narrative in play. I don't know when it's going to be approved. If it's approved in the next month, right? We're mid-November. If it's early December, mid-December, I'd anticipate Bitcoin dominance to kind of go a little crazy. But I just want to underline this by saying, even if it goes a little crazy to the upside, this is a lower high Fibonacci that we've been tracking across these cycles. I think the 60% range, maybe a little higher, is in play for Bitcoin dominance. It could be based on this Bitcoin ETF news, but I can't ignore the fact that altcoins are being very, very much acknowledged and integrated into this Bitcoin ETF, spot ETF narrative. And I think big money, I think they already have their eyes on the crypto space, the altcoin space. So I wanted to bring this to you, everybody. Let me know your thoughts. Trying to figure out if I'm going to post this. I'll post it maybe with the video that I'm recording right now, but I think it's big news, everybody. So hit the subscribe, hit the like, turn notifications on. I appreciate each and every one of you. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.